Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir.
आजचे स्पीकर US वरनं जॉईन होत आहेत का आपल्याला?
हो सर, US वरून join.
ओके, ग्रेट.
Yes.
Hello? Good evening. Hello?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Satish sir.
Sir, we will wait for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Participants will join, and then we'll start.
Yes, that's fine. There's a echo. I'm not sure whether we joined twice. Maybe that's why.
Just wait, I will take. Now I think it's okay. Huh?
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Vilas sir, can we start? Sir, your mic is mute.
Sure. I'm ready.
Okay, sir. Okay. So good evening to all the participants. This is our fourth day of 6-day online ATAL sponsored AICT FDP. So we are in the fourth day. So as usual, today we are having the two session. First session by Mr. Vilas Sheva sir from USA. Second session from Dr. P.V. Bhale from NIT Surat. So both the sessions are interesting. So we will start the first session now. So I welcome to all the participants and our today's guest speaker, Mr. Vilas Sheva sir. So good evening. It is good morning, 6:30, na?
Yeah, good morning. It's
Yes, sir. Yes, good morning.
6:30 right now.
It is our privilege to welcome Mr. Vilas Sheva sir, an accomplished IT leader with over 20 years of global experience in the enterprise level system management, cybersecurity, and digital infrastructure modernization. He is currently working as a principal specialist at the Energy Transfer Houston, USA, where he leads large-scale IT transformation initiative, security enhancement project, and cloud integrated endpoint management solution. Mr. Chevrolet has been instrumental in the architecting and implementing advanced technologies such as Microsoft Intune, Azure Cloud, Windows Autopilot, and Endpoint Manager, MAM MDM solution, and enterprise-wide security hardening strategies. His work has resulted in the significant operational efficiency, enhanced the data protection, and major cost saving for the leading organizations such as across the US and the Asia Pacific. Where a renewable background, remarkable background spanning Microsoft technology ecosystem, cybersecurity for critical infrastructure, mobile device management, virtualization, workstation hardening, and large-scale software development. He brings both the depth and breadth of expertise highly relevant to today's academic and industry need. Mr. Chevre has served prestigious clients including PG Morgan Chase, then TD Ameritrades, Morgan Stanley, and many more. He is also publisher, author, and judge for the Globally Cybersecurity Award and the Edison Award 2025, and the AICT ATAL FDP speakers for the different colleges, contributing significantly to the knowledge dissemination and the professional development. He holds a master's degree in computer science and multiple certifications, including Azure Administrator Associate, and has authorized insightful articles and a book on the cybersecurity in the modern world. We are honored to have him with us today to share his expertise. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vilas Chevre, sir. Once again, I welcome to Vilas Chevre, sir. Now, sir, the times is yours. You are having the 1 hour and 30 minutes. That is up to 7:30 p.m. So I welcome you, and you can share your insights for this today's session.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. Thank you for joining today's session. I really appreciate that, the opportunity and everything. Let me share my screen, so that we can get started. Just give me a minute. Just need to give a few sessions.
Now you can share it.
Yeah, I'm sharing. Just
Yes,
a
yes.
minute. I just want to make sure that I have a clean view rather than distractions. Okay, let's try again. Am I a presenter, sir?
No, sir. I make you as a co-host. I think you are able to share the slides. No problem.
Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. You do, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm just making sure. But today's topic is cyber physical systems and smart grids. The
Sir,
future of.
sorry to disturb you. Now the black screen is there only, and no matter is there.
Okay. Hold on. I guess I have to share the whole.
Entire screen you can share there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Can you see this now? You can see my screen?
Yes, the screen is visible. I think presentation is not visible now.
Yeah, no, I'm starting my presentation.
Okay. Yeah.
I have multiple screens, so you know.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Now it is okay.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. Goof off. You know, though I'm a technologist, you know, sometimes these things multiple screen can get you and can confuse you. That's the beauty of technology. Can work with you, or it can make you look like a fool. Um, for today's topic, thank you so much, you know, for joining us. For today's topic, which is cyber physical systems and smart grids. The future of, you know, the energy management. That was a topic given to me. Was a very interesting one. This is different than the last year's, you know, topic that I gave for Industry 4.0 and cyber security.
Yes, sir.
So I thought to, you know, cover like a little different section, right?
Yes,
I really thank you, Dr. Satish Morris, sir, for the kind introduction. Hope everyone is doing good. You know, it's in the evening. I know a lot of you are, you know, have different responsibilities, and thanks for joining the call so late. And I would like to thank you, the entire staff of, you know, Nutan Maharashtra Institute of Engineering and Technology College, and the college itself, you know, the authorities, for giving me this chance to present this session, share my knowledge with you guys. There was a brief introduction. Let me give you some other aspects of, you know, my role. My name is Vilas Shevare. I hold like master degree from in computer science from Pune University. I was in a modern college. I'm a modern college alumni. I have over 25 years of experience in interesting different roles, different responsibilities. I live in Houston currently with my family. I serve as a principal specialist in energy transfer. We are the midstream giants for transporting oil and gas in US. One of the we have hundreds and thousands of miles of pipeline covering east coast to west coast and north to south, you know, from Canada all over. My core expertise, you know, though mentioned, you know, by Dr. Satish Morris, I also have, you know, expertise in cybersecurity strategy implementation, desktop side standardization during the mergers and acquisitions. Our company does a lot of mergers with other companies. So my job is to standardize the application aspect of it, security aspect of it, making sure that the company that we acquired, you know, has the same standard that we follow. We follow very strict TSA standard. As a transportation security authority, the same authority that you see during, if you travel to US, you know, the same authority, you know, handling all the security on your airports as well. You know, they also have the oversight on the oil, and not just my company, but entire oil and gas industry. I design and deploy the zero trust architecture. I have done that multiple times. I have done that in my current company as well in two different environments. I will come to that. We'll briefly touch on the IT environment and the OT environment. I do proactive threat mitigations and breach preventions, you know, by deploying configurations on endpoints. Ensure the regulatory compliance across the IT infrastructure is another thing. It's very big to make sure that TSA guidelines have been followed during you know, the regular operation. I'm passionate about building the secure and resilient system. I'm very proud to do that, and which protects the critical infrastructure and enable the business continuity, which is very important. The oil and gas, electricity, all these comes under the critical infrastructure because they provide nation the energy that needed to run the businesses and the common people, right? On this slide, you can see my contact information, how you can connect to me. And if you have any questions, you can write to me to my email address. And I'll share the same slide, you know, at the end of the presentation, or you can talk to Dr. Satish More, sir, in case you need more guidance after the presentation. So for today's roadmap, we have 90 minutes. Not sure whether I'm going to need 90 minutes to cover the session. Trying to, I'm not ready. I want to give you guys breaks, between two presentation, and so we'll try to wrap up as much as as quickly as possible. But we're going to expand our scope, to cover like shiny new takes, and dark threads and everything. The convergence, basically, we are setting the stage on IT and IoT, OT infrastructure. Then we'll talk about the renewable trends, AI optimization and storage. How you might have seen this. I was recently in Microsoft Ignite, one of the biggest conference in the world, held by Microsoft. They hosted in different cities. This year it was in San Francisco, and then big focus was on AI and what AI can do to help your job as well as the daily life. Everybody know about the Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, big buzz. People are building products around them and making their life easier. So the IT is not behind that, and it uses the AI optimization for their IT needs, including the coding. I saw bots writing the entire website for no website developers needed technically. A human being can just go and develop the entire site without any knowledge of any technical thing, and can publish apps in App Store or Google Play Store. Then we'll do the vehicle to grid. Those are the batteries on the wheel. It's a new concept. It's getting really popular, and it has some smart applications to it. We'll talk about the smart system and the megawatt. It's a new concept, the megawatt. Then we'll talk about the digital twin, the mirror world. What exactly digital twin means, and how the companies are leveraging the digital infrastructure to basically simulate the real world scenarios. Right, and we talk about the smart grid architecture from monarchy to democracy. Then we will have a case study on a Ukraine attack. I covered in last year. I covered like 2 or 3 attacks. Saudi Aramco attack, a Canadian pipeline attack, which will be one of the most prominent attacks in the new in this modern world. We'll talk about the inside threat, social engineering. I'm planning to show a small video. Let's see, probably a lot of you guys are movie lovers. You've probably seen that, but how that is so. That movie concept in reality, how it turned out, we'll see all that. And the future of defense, basically, zero trust and self-healing. That's the today's agenda for the next whatever the minutes that we have, right? So let's dive in. Well, historically, there are. Just give me a minute. Just a second. I don't want my computer to reboot in the middle of the presentations. I just had to snooze the updates. Very important thing. If you see any updates, please apply those security patching and everything. It's very important. Okay. So historically, what we call it as a two-tribe system. One is the IT tribe. They lived in Silicon Valley. They have the fancy titles: data, cloud analyst, AI, enterprise systems. They move really fast. They break the things, update every week. You probably see Windows updates coming almost every week. Virus definition coming every week. Uh, uh, and the other tribe, I would say so, is OT tribe, which is operational ticks. Lived in the power plant, the actual power plant. They move slowly. They break nothing because everything is critical for them. Updates every 10 years, sounds like, why, in India, MSCB is using still, those dot matrix printers, or railway is using still dot matrix printer, moves very slowly. Their priority is uptime, safety, while the IT tribe's priority is basically data confidentiality. Now, for decades, an air gap separated them. That means the OT infrastructure is different than the corporate infrastructure, IT infrastructure. Like I talk about, I do the zero trust architecture in corporate as well as the OT infrastructures, right? So that's been the since decade. But the air gap is technically dead, in my opinion. Why? Because we need data. We need data that needs to be processed, right? We need data, the wind turbines, to tell the cloud it's vibrating fast, so we can fix it before it breaks, right? There's a wind turbine, if you see those giant wind turbine has a specific speed set. If they move fast, they disintegrate pretty quickly. Now, they're made out of the carbon fiber, very lightweight, but strong enough to sustain those winds. But the worst part is, if you spin them faster, they disintegrate. You should see some of the videos, how they disintegrate pretty quickly. And we need solar inverter to tell the utility the voltage is sagging. So we connected with them. We merged the nervous system, which is IT system, with the skeleton system, which is the OT system. So, for example, the General Electric's Predix platform, it connects the jet engines and gas turbines to the cloud, for the simulations and everything, right? So the real world monitoring and analytics, that's what happens. But it means now that the hackers can theoretically reach these systems from internet, touch a spinning turbine. We traded the security for efficiency, and now we have to secure that trade, right? So the bi-directional data flow and energy flow, we just have to make sure that it's good. So there are automated decision makings, that is happening. That's what they need, that cloud data, the computing power, which they do not have it on site. So we have a new era, which we call it as renewable energy 2.0. Right? Renewable energy 1.0 was just about the hardware cost, right? So you've probably seen while growing up, hey, somebody has to put the solar panels on their roof. What we think first, when we put the solar panels on your roof, you think about the cost. So isn't about everything about cost, or how much it will cost me? That's all we care about in Renewable 1.0, right? Now in Renewable 2.0, it's all about intelligence. It's just not about the cost anymore. How that particular renewable energy is going to be used. That's what the new sector is all about. So for predictive winds, for example, Vestas turbine now talk to the supercomputers in the cloud that model the weather flow. So and based on that weather flow, they don't just react to the wind, they anticipate it. So if there is a storm coming, which is a 10-minute survey, the farm feathers its blades to the unison to protect itself. Then ramp up the production, as the storm passes from that particular region. So what's the impact? 15-20% of more energy capture during the same period of time, which was not there initially, right? Virtual power plants. Good example. This is a Tesla in South Australia, and not just in South Australia. It's happening in New World as well, where the Hornsdale Power Reserve, when the coal plant tripped on offline, the grid frequency crashed. Usually this means there is a blackout, but the Tesla battery responded in milliseconds, literally in milliseconds. We're talking about not the seconds, milliseconds. So you don't even see a blip. Faster than any gas plant can, just switch from one plant to another plant. And it injected the power, stabilized the frequency, and saved the grid. Now we are doing this with the homes. So, for example, in California, which is a leader in probably renewable energy in USA, during the heat wave, 50,000 power walls discharged simultaneously. Okay, it's a ghost power plant. There is basically think about this, as a Uber, which does not own any cars, but it's one of the largest taxi fleet, has one of the largest entire world, right? So it's like a ghost plant. No land, no permits, just code and distributed batteries, working together to provide the solutions to the users. Smart Smaller, the inverter that stabilizes the grid voltage support rather than just feeds the power, right? So this is the thing that we talked about, right? The predictive range, virtual power plants, and smart solar. This is all about the renewable energy. So there is a concept that we are talking to. It's a big concept, and it may come in India as well. But in US, the concept is that think about your car, right? It's a second most expensive asset, and most the people own most, right? And it's generally sits. There are a lot of EVs in India as well. In the US, it's a big thing too. Europe, Australia, everybody's going EV. When you're not using it, it's just useless thing sitting on your parking lot. For 95% of the time or 90% of the time, if you are a travel lover, right? Now that electric vehicle is just a big battery on the wheels, right? Let's say a Ford 150 Lightning has a battery of 131 kilowatt, right? That can power the typical American home, which is a big home, right? For 3 to 10 days with the essential things. That means your light fixture, your maybe not AC, but your fans and the modem, refrigerator, all those things can run on the same 130 kilowatt battery for 3 to 10 days. So the concept vehicle to grid unlocks this concept. This basically a new thing that you probably not thought of. That hey, my vehicle can power my home. Imagine that, right? Imagine the future where 10 million EVs are plugged in at work, right? So it's 5 p.m., right? The sun is setting, solar is dropping, the solar consumption is, the solar production is dropping. Now everybody goes home and turns on the AC. Demand is spiking because it's a heat wave. Now, instead of turning on the gas plant, the grid sends a signal to 10,000 cars. Hey, give me not 100% of your battery, but let's say 5% of your charge back to the grid, and then car discharges that 5%. The grid stabilizes, offsets the demand, and the owner gets paid for that 5%. So it's a ultimate symbolic relationship between what you can do by the technology, renewable, and everything, right? So technically, that Ford truck, pickup truck, Lightning truck, is intelligent backup power. So the grid goes down by a hurricane or typhoon, what we call it as, and or a storm or something, and the truck automatically reverses the flow, which is already connected to your home, right? Powers your house. There's no generator noise, no fumes. It's just a silent power sitting on your driveway, sending the electricity back, right? Offsetting. Sounds like um, a movie concept. No, but these are the things happening. So we had to see what are the potential impact of this concept, right? So what happens now? There is a grid stabilization. Millions of EVs, act as a massive buffer for solar and wind intermittently, right? It's a revenue to owners. So earn money by parking your arbitrage, a vehicle. Um, Basically, you buy at a low. So in India, I think power is monopolized by uh, the state factors. But in Mumbai, let's say Tata Power, comes into play. So they can give you different incentive for, let's say, hey, night free. In where I live in Texas, it's free electricity where we have power to choose our electricity provider. There are hundreds of these guys over here selling the power, right? They have different incentive systems. They say that, hey, I'll give you night free. So if you charge something at night, the total wattage is free. So a lot of people, what they do is they tell Tesla to charge when there is a night free, or when there is because uh, or they will say 50% off, between 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, 50% off. So you're basically buying at low 2 a.m. and selling at high when 5 p.m. when they hit. So there is a revenue for the owners. Think about the potential impact of that smart system. Backup power. So you don't need a generator. You don't need a battery for your house. All you have is that EV sitting, which is being charged. Let's say in the morning, there are no load shadings. Basically, now all you have to do is have your EV plugged into your house, and that basically giving all the electricity, fan, everything back to you. So now we focus now on the generation, solar panels, but uh, the, the the conversation is cheaper, right? We call this as a negawatt. The watt that you do not use, that's called as a negawatt. So there is a demand, and there's a dynamic pricing for it. For example, Nest. There is a smart thermostat called Nest. Right? I have it in my home since I bought this home. What it does is it checks the weather. If there is too much, if it knows your location, basically where your home is. It monitors the weather and it adjusts the thermostat. It has a smart learning. It adjusts the thermostat based on your behavior, based on the pattern of your city or the area that you're living. So they have the rush hour rewards. That is in the summer when the grid is very stressed. So what the thermostat does is it receives a signal, and it does in my home as well. So what it does is it knows that there will be a heat storm. So what it does is during the off-peak hours, it cools down my entire house by 2 degrees before that peak hour starts. And during that peak hour, what it does is it increases the temperature automatically, either without telling me. All I do is say, hey, I'm enrolled into the Nest rush hour reward system. There are a lot of other, like I said, there are a lot of power players. They give you incentive not using much electricity during the rush hour because they want to offset it. So Nest automatically adjusts that. It will cool down when there is no heat there is no much demand, it will cool down my house little bit 2 degrees 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and then what it does is during the peak hour it basically increases that temperature by 2 degrees, consuming less power. So um, you stay cool, the grid stays on. Okay, it turns on like 1 million homes into a virtual sponge for the energy. Right? That's a demand. That's a that's a demand response. And then there is a dynamic pricing in the future. Let's say, um, like I said, your dishwasher. Well, it's getting famous in India too now. Nobody wants to do the chores. Same here. Um, so they have a start button, which basically it's a smart start button. What it does is, hey, I don't want to run this, during the peak hours. Let's say run it by 5 a.m., 6 a.m., right? When everybody is sleeping, you don't want it. In US, the households are big, so you don't hear much. In India, may not be possible, but that concept is coming pretty soon. So it has a smart button. What it does is it queries the grid, the electricity grid, and say, hey, when the electricity is cheapest? Tell me. Okay, let's say 2 a.m. in the morning, electricity, there is no literally demand and everything cooled down. So it queries the grid sends that information back to the dishwasher saying that, you know what, 2 a.m., I do not have any demand. And they say, okay, fine. When the wind is blowing and demand is low, at 2 a.m., your dishwasher finishes the job, basically dynamic pricing. That flattens the curve of you doing the job at peak hours, which is basically in the evening, right? So you don't have to power your power plant just at 6 p.m. in the evening. In US, Tesla is already doing this. I told you about, right? It's called off-peak hour charging, or some electricity providers that hey, your electricity at night is free. Or most of the Tesla chargers, Tesla owners charge their Teslas, at night when there is a electricity, because the price is not fixed. It can vary, it depends on your plan and everything. So Tesla can connect to your electricity provider. Tesla is an electricity provider nowadays, and at least in Texas, that's what I understand. And you have a Tesla battery backup, which basically stores the energy, which you can do that during off-peak hours, and you can use it, during the peak hours. That's the concept I talked about, right? The Powerwall concept. It's called Powerwall, Tesla Powerwall. So Tesla can connect to your electricity provider, can get that data, charge when your plan offers the cheapest price, right? So that's a case study we saw, that how Nest can reduce like 20-30% of energy consumption by adopting the climate, by adopting the user behavior, right? That 30% saving, you do not feel like anything, but imagine, if there is not a peak hour, especially in India, developing countries, that can 20-30% offset electricity demand, can basically remove all the blackouts or the load shedding, that we commonly know now. Right? There won't be any load shedding because there is not much demand, because the smart system coming together and deciding, when they're going to use the electricity rather than doing everything during the summer peak hours, right? So those are the interesting concepts that we talk about. So the digital twin, interesting concept. I have this. You probably saw this in movies. You probably saw this in engineering and everything. The digital twin is like we before we build anything, right? Or before we build a house, what architecture does, it layouts the plan and everything. So we lay out the plan of the entire grid in digital form, and we simulate it. Okay, we make sure that everything is working fine before we start constructing it. That saves a lot of construction cost. and potential issues, going forward. So uh, don't think that digital twin is just, a digital. It's a living thing. It's basically a breathing virtual clone of your physical asset. For example, GE wind turbines. Uh, every physical turbine has a ghost in the cloud. A ghost is the same, in a meaning is its exact replica in the cloud, right? It has the sensors on the physical. There are sensors on the physical system turbine that feed data to the ghost, basically vibration, temperature, torque, everything. If the ghost starts to show stress and simulation, um, the engineers go, we know that the real turbine will have the same type of thing based on the sensor data that we gain. The wind turbine may break. So before it breaks, what we can do? We can lower the torque, and save that millions of dollars of investment, and we can fix it before it breaks. So the Uh, Singapore is a prime example, has a digital twin of the entire city's power grid. Not one section, not two sections. Singapore's entire power grid has a digital twin. And now imagine the concept. Okay, so you can paint the scenarios. Hey, what if Singapore goes AV? There's just the Go Green initiative by the government, and we add 50,000 electric vehicles next year as a Go Green initiative. What would be my power consumption? How my system will react? Well, what if there is a tsunami? That hits our coast. How the power structure will look like? They can crash the virtual grid 1,000 times. They can play with those scenarios and be ready for it, learn from it, and they save the actual grid, which is the critical infrastructure. Again, so this is the ultimate sandbox resilience, in my opinion, right? Sorry, got distracted. Sorry. So what's the outcome of this? So we have asset health, which is like 98% healthy, right? What does that mean? The less failures for you, less load shedding for you, or less infrastructure stress. That means better living. Now we need to define what we're actually protecting, right? So it's not just IT. It's called cyber physical system, CPS. The difference, IT is I send an email, it arrived. Okay, that's the data. While the CPS is, I send a command and the valve is open. That's an action. So there's a data and there is an actual action happening. That's what the cyber physical systems are, right? They integrate the computational models and networking, everything, physical processor, PLCs and everything. In IT, the worst case scenario is like usually financial loss or privacy loss, right? So one of the prime example is breach of Aadhaar. I explained this I think in last year. One of the biggest breach for public sector, Aadhaar breach. Where the addresses, names, and everything where phone numbers probably were stolen by the hackers. But in the cyber physical system, the worst case scenario is a physical destruction or even loss of life in some cases, right? Critical concerns. So if a hacker takes over a Tesla, let's say Tesla is a car itself is a cyber physical system, right? And disables the brake, what will happen? Now think about this as a kinetic weapon. It can be used as a weapon. That means you can intentionally brake fail in front of someone, when the Tesla, or accelerate that Tesla in front of someone, to cause some harm. So if a hacker takes over if the hacker takes over the dam floodgates, okay, imagine, it's uh, uh, I have a video, a very interesting video. It's going to come in a few slides. So uh, a hacker takes over the dam floodgates. That is a weapon of mass destruction, causing a havoc in that region, uh, to gain something, to gain the financial gain, or some other motives. And so you do not know, they are using to terrorize the region, some foreign actors, doing this. So we securing the system where the blue screen of death, which is a famous Microsoft blue screen of death, uh, could mean the actual death, right? So it's pretty scary, but it's the reality. There's no movie fiction anymore. It's just the uh, fact. So what the smart grid architecture look like? That's pretty simple in my viewpoint. It's pretty simple. Okay, so visualizing the target. Right? The grid is no longer a tree. That means the roots and branches and everything. It's a web. It's a mesh. The prosumer. You're a node. Okay, pro-consumer and prosumer. Your solar panels inject the power. Your EV absorbs the power. Um, this is basically bidirectional. The flow is, uh, nightmare for the stability. So it requires the constant millisecond level communication. Um, has to be always on, all the time. Right? The advanced metering infrastructure is the chat network of the grid. If I can hack the advanced metering infrastructure, I can tell 1 million meters to disconnect simultaneously. What is that? Basically, the whole city goes in dark. Right? And there is a SCADA system. The SCADA system is just not, related to the power grid or anything. We use it in oil and gas, and we call it as OT infrastructures, SCADA system. Whatever applies over here, applies in my field as well. But I'm just giving you the aspect of the entire thing through the renewable energy point of view, right? I have the similar what you call experience in protecting the critical infrastructure for the oil and gas. So instead of electricity grid, we have pipelines that needs to be protected from all these things. I always give the example of colonial pipeline hack 20 recently. I don't remember the exactly. I think 2021. One of the biggest one that happened on U.S. soil, and it was a nightmare, right? So the architect itself is vulnerable because it relies on the trust between the two nodes, right? So the generation, distribution, and consumer, the SCADA system sits right in between, communicates, helps the grid to become a smart grid. That's how the simple architecture of the grid looks like. I'm just checking the time, making sure. Close to an hour, I believe, but yeah, we still have a few slides, right? So now we pivot from what's renewable energy, smart grids, everything into the darkness. Right? We build the smart systems, smart grids, and now uh, we had to ask ourselves questions like, did we actually build those smart grids? Uh, what I mean, the question to ourselves is like, are these the smart grids? Okay, a smart grid is supposed to be intellectual enough to take the actions and everything. Uh, so what we actually build, in my opinion, here is a giant target, a very big target. For who? For the hackers, because every connection is a vector. Every connection point is a failure point in the whole ecosystem of the smart grid or smart infrastructure, SCADA, OT, everything. The the every vendor is a vector. Every vendor that integrates their system into your system is now a vector. A vector. The attack surface is now wider because these are all interconnected systems, right? So one vendor, two vendor, three vendors. So anything can happen between these particular vendor sites, which totally affecting where your smart grid is being connected. That means uh, the few hundred control rooms to billion devices is now the attack surface for the hackers, right? To the bad actors to basically find out. And our job is to prevent that. Our job is to make sure that everything is being prevented, everything is being uh, secure, right? So um, um, there are organized crime syndicates who target um, renewable energy sectors, they target the oil and gas energy sectors, they target everything, financial sectors, everything. You, your banking system is also a smart grid, right? It connects. You're sending money from one bank to another bank through to NEFT system, right? RGTS system, or whatever the payphone or whatever. There are multiple connecting systems. So your phone can, if your phone is hacked, basically your account can get hacked, and that can spread, or that malicious code can be sent from one phone to all your contacts, and all those contacts can be compromised, right? So every single point that is connecting to the grid, to the internet, is now the attack surface. And now this is the clip I was talking about. It's a clip from a James Bond movie called Skyfall, and the bad actor Silva, he meets the James Bond for the very first time, and he just explaining Bond, he that what he can do. It's a very interesting conversation, in my opinion. Like I said, it's not movie anymore. It's though the concept looks like it's in movie, but it's not. This is the real life things that are happening, and pretty uh, pretty scary in few things. So let's watch the clip for a minute or so, then I'll dive deep into some of the other aspects of the cybersecurity. I'm not sure whether you can hear the noise, hear the sound, but I have turned on the subtitles just to, or you can go on internet and watch the same thing in Skype or YouTube ads. Sorry, don't have. All right.
Sir, is there audio for this video?
Yes, there is audio, but I'm not sure whether you can hear it.
No, sir, we are not able to listen that audio.
That's why I turn on the subtitles. So see whether you can read the subtitles. I turn on the subtitles for the same reason. Let me go back and give you the sneak peek of the same conversation. I'm not sure how I can transfer the audio, but try to read the subtitles and I'll explain what exactly happens in this thing.
Okay, okay.
So he's saying that you can destabilize a multinational organization by manipulating their stock, easily by just click of a button. So another example given, like how you can hack a spy satellite over the Kabul and can spread a probably false information by click of a button. So he's just bragging about what he can do as a cybersecurity person. So, if you read like last two sentences, it's just what the hero Bondover is saying, that you can a gas explosion in London, right? And it's just a hobby for some cyber criminals. It's just a hobby. It's a scary part. It's a hobby. That's what we had to be worried about, right? So that's the whole anatomy of the attack. Some do it for a hobby. Some there are organized syndicates who can do it. But what you see in the movie is the reality. It's a fact. It's not a fiction. It's not a fiction anymore. It's growing. It's growing in exponential threat. It's going in exponential way. All these things that you heard in the movie that Silva is trying to tell James Bond is like, hey, I can do this by just click of a button. Basically, there are agents written, or there are vectors behind. Behind that, you saw an entire data center running. Those wires and everything is basically a data center connected to what? Internet. All he's doing is hacking one system and then making sure that he's sending a we'll come to that, but sending the false information and how he can trick the entire world, rig an election in Uganda, to a highest bidder that the politicians are playing. I'm not saying that this is happening, but I'm saying that's a possibility. So all he's trying to say that what you can do with this integrated world, it's just not browse the internet for information, but can create a havoc and can create some really disturbing things, right? So this is the new world. This is the new world we live in, and this is the reality that we have to face, right? One of the first confirmed cyber attack that actually take the entire power grid down was the Ukraine one in 2015. It sounds like 10 years. I think 10 years, a lot of things have been involved. And so in December 23rd, 2015, Western Ukraine. This is like peak of the winter season, right? Snow everywhere, cold waves everywhere. The temperatures in negative degree Celsius, probably, or Fahrenheit. The method is very simple. Patience. The attackers were inside the network for 6 months, so basically they know exactly what they're going to do. So they were watching. They fished the IT admins 6 months prior to this attack, and they were doing the silent observation. They're just watching, gathering all the data, and just watching, learning how the entire power grid is being operated, or what are the vulnerable points. How the switches are being operated, what needs to be done, or what are the fail-safe methods, and how we can override those. Right? Those are the credential thefts. So they stole the VPN connection, the credential to cross from the IT network, which is from the office corporate network, so to the OT network control room. Right? The it's they fish the office worker. Probably they send like, hey, you want an Amazon gift card for $25? Click here, and the system is hacked. They got in the system, and now they're just spreading across the system call as a lateral movement of the attacking. Right? So one of my proud project in energy transfer was labs, and implementing labs for all our systems. Now there are more than 15,000, 16,000 systems, including the servers and everything are like around 20,000. We will adding another 6,000. So basically, labs randomizes the password for the local administrator. So every 24 hours, there will be a local administrator, different password, and every system will have a different password. There will not be a unique password, one password for all the system to prevent the lateral movement. The lateral movement can be in the network as well. There are things that you can do on the network to prevent it. We're going to touch base few of those things, but they fished an office worker, right? So they got into the IT system. They found a VPN tunnel to the SCADA system. Now they are in corporate environment. The reason we call it as an air gap, basically there are two different domains. And the different domains, when you have to go from one domain to another domain, you need a VPN tunnel system, or you need a method, a point-to-point method communication system. You can do the remote desktop connections, or you can do the VPN tunnel to get into the SCADA network. So there is always access from corporate to SCADA system through particular measures, through multi-factor authentication, through different credentials and all other things. So what they did is they found the VPN tunnel into the SCADA system, which is the control room of that power grid, and they strike. And this was chilling, in my opinion. The operator in the control room watched their own mouse cursor start moving. After the ghost control took over that mouse, it started moving the things, and the invisible hand then clicked breaker open. So they just opened the breakers, right? They tried to grab the mouse, but they couldn't able to because they were locked out. In few minutes, right? In few minutes, 30 substations went dark. 225,000 people went in a dark, in a freezing cold of negative, temperatures. Imagine the disaster. All of a sudden, some of us do not know. In heat, you can survive because it's just a heat, but in freezing cold, your body temperatures are dropping pretty quickly. And if you do not have gas, if you do not have electricity, it's just your houses are getting pretty cold. So it's a life and death situation in this matter for 225,000 people. So the kicker is after opening the breakers, the attackers launched the kill disk, which is a malware that erased the hard drives of the control servers. See, they just did not have the intention to just turn off. Basically, they had intentional to make sure that those systems are not coming back online pretty soon. So that erased the hard drives of the control server. They also launched the telephony denial of the service. It's called, there's a DDoS, denial of the service, when you send hundreds and thousands of millions of requests to a website. Website cannot handle that, and it just breaks down. So there are systems like Cloudflare, or hey, are you human? A computer asking a human, are you human? Kind of, the gaps to prevent that denial of the service. So it's like a telephony denial of the service called TDoS. attack against the call center, so customers couldn't report the outage. So basically, they just did not imagine the bad actor not just cutting the power supply, but it's also cutting the uh, the communication of a consumer back to the call center, so they cannot report it back. So nobody knows that has happened. So it was a coordinated multi-layer asset. It was pretty coordinated multi-layer asset design, not just to stop the power, but also to prevent the recovery. Okay, so the harm was done, and the harm was done in such a way that they cannot get back on their own feet, in short period of time. Right. So this is a blueprint of modern cyber warfare that we're talking about, that we just saw in the previous clip. Right? So this is a very well documented attack on a power grid. You can search more. You can do. You can you can look up the articles and how it happened and what exactly it happened. There are paper published on that. I'm planning to create an article on this when I get chance. I have published multiple articles. You can go and check my LinkedIn profile to get the glimpse of the articles I have written on the SCADA systems and OT networks. So let's talk about the key attack vectors, right? So besides the direct takeover, like what happened in the Ukraine, power plant issue, there are some subtler ways to kill the grid. Now, the most famous is like the lie. What is that? Well, data injection. Now, I don't hack the breaker. I hack the sensor. Right? I don't have to go and do something. I just had to hack the particular sensor. I tell the grid, line A is let's say melting. The grid's own safety system trips line A. I do this for 10 lines, and the cascading failure. Just basically, I use the grid's immune system to act against itself. It's trying to protect itself by that false data happen on one sensor or 10 sensors, and it's as a fail-safe. It just shut down everything. So cascading effect. If the 10 lines are shut down, the program is telling the other lines, here you shut down, because there's something wrong with the one sensor, or line A is melting, something bad happened. Now all the lines are being shut down. Ransomware on OT, Colonial Pipeline is like I said, this will come up again and again in my conversation. It's very close to my heart, or close to very the infrastructure that I care for and I protect for. Right, ransomware on the OT or SCADA system, shutting down infrastructure for Bitcoin. Millions of Bitcoins were $1 million worth of Bitcoin. I do not know the exact amount right now, but those Bitcoins were given to the attackers because their systems were held as hostages, right? They encrypted the whole thing, and the people were not able to log in. I do not believe there is a known or publicly acceptable attack on the OT infrastructure. But there are some articles suggesting that it's a attack on the OT infrastructure. The gas station on the East Coast side, because this is the main pipeline on the East Coast side. The gas station on the East, like not when I say gas, it's not natural gas. It's basically gasoline, basically petrol in India, right? Or diesel in India. There were lines for 3-4 kilometers on every gas station when this happened, because as a prevention, the entire pipeline was shut down. There was no flow of gas. There was no flow of natural gas, no flow of the gasoline or diesel through the pipeline. So there's nothing on the gas stations for consumers, right? They didn't hack the pumps, right? So they didn't go and hack like one pump at a time, one gas station at a time. They hacked the billing system. Just because the company couldn't bill, they shut down the pipeline. The result was the same: the gas shortages across the East Coast. Um, it showed that IT can attack, IT attacks can have the OT consequences. So this, like I said, this was not the attack on the directly OT infrastructure. What they did, the corporate infrastructure was done, couldn't able to build, so pipeline was done. The whole system was chaos. Um, Next is the supply chain. Basically, if you can't attack the fortress, hack the food delivery truck that goes in the fortress. We have seen in the movies as well. Hack the software update mechanism. The SolarWinds attack. SolarWinds, a company, provides a lot of products for related to networking, patching the system. They have the patch module as well. So attack compromised thousands of companies because they all downloaded a security update. Now I quote unquote, security update was a bad actor in this conversation, because they provide the SolarWinds patch manager provides the security update. So they injected a malware in the code of the security update that contaminated, or that basically opened the back door for thousands of company data on the internet. And then IoT botnets. Sorry, where the IoT devices are everywhere, right? So Nest, like I have a Nest, you have IoT devices. My dishwasher is IoT device. Your whatever you see Internet of Things and whatever the devices connecting to the internet are the IoT devices. They're swarm. There are bad actors always waiting to hack those IoT devices. So I don't hack the fortress, I don't hack the Nest system, but I hack the one sensor or two sensor or multiple sensor of the same type, and can create havoc and collapse of the fortress or collapse of that entire system. So under the weight of its own connected gadget, right? So the millions of Nest are sending bad information to the village, saying that, okay, hey, I have a heat wave coming, uh, cool down my house by 2 degrees, before the heat wave comes. So sending a false information to grid, and now grid is being overloaded because the millions of those IoT devices are for no reason cooling down the system, and just causing problems to the users. And there was a famous saying, we are human, right? So there's a human factor associated with this. You have a disturbed, disgruntled employee. We spend millions in firewalls, protecting those firewalls from the bad actors and everyone. But the easiest way into the secure facility is not the 0-day vulnerable code and the 0-day vulnerability code, but it's a smile and a clipboard or a bribe, right? There's an insider, a disgruntled engineer who is basically passed over a promotion, a technician with gambling debts who is approaching by a foreigner agent, and they have now keys to the kingdom, right? So Monarchy Water Bridge in Australia, right? A disgruntled former contractor use a radio transmitter and his old laptop to take control of a sewage system and release like 800,000 liters of raw sewage into the parks and the river. He didn't need to hack the encryption. He knew the system. He just opened the floodgates, right? 800,000 is like 8 lakh liter of raw sewage just in parks and rivers. That water is contaminated, cannot be used to do anything. It's something that you cannot think of, but happens. These are the real life examples that I'm giving you. Social engineering, phishing, one of the most common way to hack your devices. Not just the laptop. Don't think about devices as the laptops and computers and everything. Your mobile phone is capable of doing a lot of things because it's connecting to your home network. Your home network is connected to all the devices. If your phone is being compromised, is basically compromising the whole entire Wi-Fi network, all the computers in your Wi-Fi network, right? Social engineering, phishing, common clickbait, So we have a saying, click. Um, so know before you click. So you have to understand. You just hover over the link and try to see it's really coming from an organization.com or it's coming from somebody else. Attachment, a PDF file looks harmless but can contain code. Even downloading sometimes the images confirms your email address to the spam companies. So that's why Google doesn't show you. You always like, why I'm not getting those images downloaded automatically? What you're doing by downloading those images, you basically those images are embedded in your email. That HTML email has a link to a website, and the website has a code which basically downloads that image. The website, when it gets the request along with your email address, and you always wonder like, why I'm getting so spam emails, because you download those images which are not supposed to be downloaded. Simple mechanism, right? But some people do not think about it, but that's how it exactly happens. Some people say, hey, I've been a Nigerian prince, one of the most social engineered or very there's a TED talk about it. Go and watch about the Nigerian prince. The guy made it really funny, but that's a fact. A lot of people lost their money, and the Nigerian prince. Social engineering, right? The phishing attacks. Those are don't open any email if you do not know. If some friend is sending you an email, you just have to make sure that he sent the email. Call him and say, did you send that email? Yes. Okay, then you open it. Then you open the attachment. Don't do it. Once your phone gets hacked, basically there are ways to hide that malicious code inside your phone. And some of the most common antivirus. You think that phone doesn't need an antivirus? It does need an antivirus. There are there are ways you can actually have your phone. There are things that you can download on your phone which are acts as an antivirus. Google Play Store, make sure that the code is being protected, the code is being verified. So it's not that app is not being used to collect your information and sent to some foreign actors for the processing. So most common thing. You find a USB key line somewhere, USB drive line somewhere. Don't connect to your computer. That's another common way. Think that, oh, let me see what's on the USB drive. People connect a USB drives on their laptops. Boom, ransomware. The entire data is encrypted. You do not have any backups of your data. Everything gone. The lives are destroyed. And don't click that. Don't put that in your. Don't click those links. Don't put the USBs, random USBs on your in your laptops, especially the college ones or company ones. Don't do it. They can prove really dangerous for your entire organizations. So the the famous saying is curiosity kills the cat. That's a curiosity. Hey, what if I click this link? What if I put this USB drive? That kills the cat. The employee plugs in that bad USB drive, the entire network can be taken down. That one employee who clicked that bad email in Colonial Pipeline took down the entire pipeline. For thousands of humans. Human lives were affected. Not just human lives, but millions of people were affected by that. So what we do? We must patch our people as often as we can, including the servers. Like I said, if they have a software update pending, do the reboots. And everybody, I say this all the time. I'm the person who actually architect the entire patching system in my energy transfer company. Everybody hates the reboot, but you must reboot once a month. You must reboot for the patches to get updated. If you see a Chrome update, don't just say it says that relaunch, relaunch Chrome for an update. Right? Don't procrastinate. Relaunch it. Your tabs will come, but that will make sure that your browser is being patched, being secured um, from the attackers. Now, defense mechanism. Two more slide. I hope, Satish sir, we have time, right? I'm not sure how we're doing on the time. Satish sir?
Sir, we have 10 minutes more, sir.
Yeah. I think I can wrap up in 10 minutes, and that's pretty.
Up to 7:30. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a defined mechanism, where zero trust architecture. Never trust anyone. We always verify. We don't build the modes anymore. We build the checkpoints, right? Every door we assume breach, the attacker is already inside. That's what we think of. And then every packet, every request, every identity must be verified continuously. Microsegmentations. We slice the network into tiny trust zones. So the accounting server has no reason to talk to a generator, right? HR database has no reason querying the sales data system. If it tries, the network blocks it instantly using the rules that have been established. This isn't a scare, it's a pragmatism, right? In Industry 4.0, IT and OIT are converging. So lateral movement must be stopped at the source, like I said, use labs for the randomizing the password. The password set beyond trust is another vendor who does the password set mechanism. You can check out the password of the local administrator. Zero trust turns the fortress into a maze of locked doors, right? You cannot, have multiple keys and just, log one door after another. You cannot do that lucky, right? So that is basically preventing the floodgates. Even one is breached, the attacker can, roam around freely. There are multiple levels that people can do that. And then there's a physical awareness, AI defense system. Basically, traditional firewalls look for the IP ports and the protocols, but attackers spoof these very easily. What if the firewall understood the physics? I'm not saying that for just saying it. For example, let's say one sensor says the voltage is equal to 0. Another says that, hey, current is flowing. So according to Ohm's law, what is Ohm's law? The voltage is equal to I into R, right? So that's impossible. So basically AI flags this, the artificial intelligence flags this as a spoofing attack and can correct itself. So this is ultimate sanity check for us. Machines validating machines, right? Now machines were validating humans, and now machines are validating machine, making sure that there is no spoofing involved in this. In smart grid, small factories, and autonomous vehicles, physics-aware defense can detect subtle manipulation that can be a pure logic misses, IT logic misses, basically, right? Then it's not just a cyber security; it's a cyber physical security. You're protecting the physical assets in this case. SCADA system, OT system, very important systems. We are teaching machines to defend themselves with the laws of the nature. Zero trust, I always say that it's like airport security. Every passenger, every bag, every time must be checked. We would like to prevent the attacks like Colonial Pipeline, the IT breach, impacting the OT infrastructure eventually. The Ukraine grid attacks, the sensor spoofing, a breaker open, right? Breaker open. Attackers are evolving, so the defense system must evolve faster than the attackers. Attackers are getting smarter, so you have to be smarter to prevent these attacks. Zero trust and physics awareness AI aren't the optional things. They must be the survival strategy for Industry 4.0 or 5.0 in some cases now. Right? The grid of 2035, in my opinion, in future, how it should be self-healing grid. It should be blockchain-based, quantum resistant cryptography based, resilience basically. Self-healing means the grid becomes like a human nervous system. Detect, react, recover, all in seconds. Fault isolation, rerouting happens automatically, reducing the outages from hours to seconds. Predictive maintenance, sensor detects weak spots before they fail. Rerouting the power proactively. Every neighborhood becomes a cell in the living organism, able to heal itself without waiting on human intervention. Blockchain, peer-to-peer energy economy. Energy trading becomes a simple in sending the money over the Venmo. The smart contracts automates the transaction. Basically, you cannot change those because of the small contracts. Once in the blockchain, you cannot just change that thing. If my battery is full, the cell exceeds the power to my cells actually exceeding power to my neighbor at a market rate. Utilities shift from being the sole providers, become a platform like we saw in the Ford 150 or the Tesla Powerwall example. Then there is a transparency. Every transaction is recorded, reducing the fraud, enabling the real-time carbon accounting. Communities from energy corporations pooling solar, wind, and storage to create the local marketplace. So they are resilient as well. So they fail gracefully, recover very quickly, and we stop the chasing effect or cascading effect. Then, like I said, they are resilient, reliable, the fail safe, instead of the fail open. So, in conclusion, as we wrap up, the conversion is inevitable. The merger of IT and OT is already complete. There is no going back. So all we have to do is make sure that our they are intelligent. The defense is dynamic. As the intelligence becomes vulnerable, it's a law of nature to the more complex system is, the more fragility is, right? We must balance our hunger for feature with the hunger of the security. There has to be complete balance, right? The defense is must be kinetic. We are protecting the physical system, lives as well as the equipment, not just the data. So forged credit card numbers, we're protecting the spinning rotors from the, just not protecting the credit card numbers, but protecting the spinning rotors, turbines, and pressure valves in the pipeline. And resilience is the goal. The perfection is impossible. Nobody can be perfect. But if the enemy is too smart, we must build our system to take a punch. If the attacker shuts down the main control center, the situations can be smart enough to keep up the lights autonomously, like we saw in one of the previous examples. Right? The future is for everyone. I hope it's bright and green and connected, without any load shedding, without any downtime. It's our job to make it safe. The grid of 2035 is less like a machine, but more like a living organism. It connects it with multiple systems. So a storm knocks out a line, no problem. Power reroutes in seconds and notices. Right? By 2035, the grid won't be deliver electricity. It will deliver the trust, resilience, and community empowerment. So with that, I really would like to thank you again for the organizing committee of Newton Maharashtra Institute of Engineering Technology, and Dr. Satish More sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity. My contact information again is on the screen. contact me on the Twitter or email me vilashawai33@gmail.com, or connect me on LinkedIn, to check out my articles, or you can do the LinkedIn uh, messaging as well. If you're interested in learning more and need some advice. But like I said, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me for 1.5 hours. I'm just talking. Hopefully, this session is really helpful for you to give an insight on today's world, the renewable energy 2.0, and hope you learn a thing or two from here and become successful in your life. I hope I get a chance to meet you over and over again in future. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your nice presentation. Actually, from last 3 to 4 days, we are listening about the different systems for the renewable energy.
Right.
But what is the importance of the security and in IT sector, and what is the role of IT sector in the renewable energy system securities? So that is also the important thing, equally important thing. And you covered nicely all the things related to the IT sectors and security for the renewable energy and the smart system. So
Thanks.
physical, cyber security, cyber physical systems and smart grid, feature of the engineering management, in the energy management, and the renewable energy 0.2, you already covered. Then smart system and the megawatt. Then the important topic, digital twin. I think you mentioned some Singapore city example of this thing.
Yes.
So it will be really helpful for our participants. Those are from the IT sectors and those are from the computer, because we are having the participants here from the different branch, IT, electronics, CNTC, and all these things. So they will really help. They will get the really help from this today's session.
Mhm.
Now it's time to interact with our sir, Dr. Professor Vilas Shewai. So I request to participants, if you have any queries or any interaction topic, so it's a nice time to discuss with the Mr. Vilas sir. So please unmute yourself and discuss with the sir. Or if you can write in your chat box.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, good evening. This is Nikhil Deshmukh, sir, from SSBS College, Dhule. Sir, I want to ask that whatever the concept you have told, many concepts were like sci-fi movies.
Yes, it is.
I want to ask you that exactly how much percentage of this concept is practically used in India nowadays, and what will be the chances of using all this concept practically fully in the India?
So, in my opinion, I said this last time in Industry 4.0, India is very, very fast, aggressively developing. Right? EV, electric vehicles were a very novice or newbie thing in India. Now you can see the EV green nameplates everywhere, right? So the concept is gradually adopted by the people. The conceptual idea is there. How much adoption it happens depends on the infrastructure, right? The IoT devices I talked about, the smart thermostat, smart dishwasher, all other those things are within your house are already. All they need an ecosystem to make sure that they somehow get a platform to act together, not just independently. As far as Powerwall is concerned, you already have a Powerwall. Probably, if you live in Maharashtra, I grew up in Maharashtra, so I know that everybody in Maharashtra used to have a battery somewhere on your in your house, which is basically charging, and when the load shedding happens, you basically using the same battery to power your lights, fans, and basic infrastructure. We have the same concept over here, but instead of those lead batteries, we have what we call as a Tesla solar power wall. Okay, either it's charging from the solar power, or it's charging from the renewable grid. They are the big battery packs that you generally get in the Tesla electric vehicle. They're just on your wall. It's just sitting on your wall. They charge, and if you need them during in Texas, sometimes we get hard freeze. Hard freeze means what? the temperatures suddenly drop like in negative from a warmer temperature to negative temperature. It happens like overnight. It will kill the vegetation. It will kill literally everything, which is out in the open. Because of that, there is a electricity demand. There is a gas demand, right? In those scenarios, the Tesla power grid, power wall comes in a picture. So even if the main electricity is being disconnected, you use the power wall to heat your home. Use your power wall to do your whatever you have to do. And some concepts will be implemented in India. All we need an infrastructure or platform. I think it's totally possible in the next 5 years to use the similar concept, to use the similar things that we are seeing in the US. India is a very fast developing country. I totally believe that these things are possible. There are more and more innovations coming. There are more and more companies coming, or more and more startups working towards your day. There are bots to make the rotis now. Rotimatic, very famous one, right? That's connected to internet. Now you can just send a command before you come home. Say, hey, make me 10 rotis. It starts and spits out 10 rotis for you. There are curry bots as well, which are connected to internet. All you have to do is before you go to your work, you chop the ingredients, you put them in. Before you come to work, you say that, hey, make me a butter paneer masala, and then it spits out the paneer butter masala. You come in, the rotis are ready, your sabzi is ready. You don't have to cook. You don't have to go anywhere outside. You're tired, you don't want to go anywhere. So these are the things coming into reality, in my opinion. But again, these things are vulnerable for the attacks, right? So cybersecurity is one of the major aspects of it, and I think in India it's becoming a norm. The education is coming now. Calls from certain numbers. Hey, don't click something. If you get in a text message. Even the older people are adopting this thing. Every time my mom gets. I get something in a message, she asks me, she calls me, or she calls my brother and says, hey, should I click this link, or should I open this message? So education is happening, in my opinion, even for the older generations. Adaptability is there. The newer generation is very smart. They are actually smarter than us. Their adoption to the technology is faster, better. Their understanding is far better. Their usage is far better. My kids use technology far better than me, in my opinion. They are more tech savvy. Sometimes I struggle to do the things. I've been in technology from last 24, 25 years, but they can show me the things which are like amazing. I talked about the 3D printing in last seminar. It's a big thing. I really wish I can show you. I have right over here. My son has a 3D printer, like right next to me. He does the 3D printing. It's a little expensive right now, but there are 3D printers which are very cheap as well that you get. He designs it. He does his own designing. He has his own model. He has a business on Etsy where he sells the stuff, custom design stuff. So if you have a watch, he can print, a special customized, what do you call the watch guard or something like that. I don't know what they call it, but he designs those, he sells those. So they are more technology adoption. They are more tech savvy than the older generation. We are the old guards, but as the technology evolves and as the adoption evolves, right, I totally believe this is possible in India. And India is one of the biggest market, has the largest consumer base in the entire world, and they are more tech savvy. India is the one country, I challenge you, you can prove me wrong, has the highest number of internet users, connected constantly, right? Through WhatsApp, through Facebook, whatever you call it as, Insta, you call whatever it is at, but they're connected to internet. And through that, they get the education, they get the need. And once the company understands the need, they will build the platform for it. So in my opinion, the adoption is coming, and it's coming pretty fast.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir, I have the one question
Sure.
related to the digital twin. So
Sure.
suppose someone want to apply the thing digital twin on any equipment or any process. So
Yes.
what are the basic things are required for this particular digital things?
So for digital twin, there are some cloud services where you can go on internet. If I find some sites, I'll share with you. But in some of the there are so I do a lot of judging on Edison Awards, and I do other awards, cybersecurity awards. I was in the Edison Award. There are always some interesting things that I see. So AR, right? Artificial intelligence, artificial reality. So those the AR and AI, they combine together. Now, I talked about this. I think in previous session I mentioned this as well. In Amazon, you can just use the augmented reality to place a particular thing on your house, and you can see how it will look before you buy it, right? So there are applications, there are some apps where you can build the entire thing, simulate it before you can build the technology. So if you want to build a PLC, you don't have to build the PLC on a board itself, actually. You can design that PLC before you actually start putting the resistor components in the capacitor, ICs, everything. You can design your IC as well. In those apps, there are apps like that. Unfortunately, I do not have the exact details right now. But if you search in the wild, there are many open websites. They will let you design everything, test it out, and then you can create it based on that particular model. You can tweak it. You can say, okay, if I need a resistor like this, if I need a capacitor like this, and if my IC is like this, if they are in parallel or they are in series, what will be the output, everything. You can simulate everything. If I have time this week, I'll try to see and post some LinkedIn notes, related with it. I just need some time to figure it out. But there are apps. There are multiple apps. The digital twin is just not what you call concept. It's a reality. Singapore has shown that. GE has shown that. There are multiple. The Tesla Gigafactory. You talk about any gigafactories, they have digital twins. They do the stress testing. They do the entire simulation. One of my very good friend, Amit Jain, is into oil and gas, and he has built a model on Python. He has created the entire pipeline, the gas plant, the refinery, and he has like hundreds and thousands of permutation combination that he can do based on that model by creating a digital twin and the code that he wrote it himself. So it's a pretty interesting concept, the digital twin. I believe in India, MSCB probably using it. The other factories are using it. We just don't see it. That doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just we don't see the control center. We don't have access to the control center. But if you go in a control center, even in the oil and gas pipeline companies, you see a digital twin. You see the entire pipeline being mapped out. There are systems there which you can create based on a sensor. It can create the entire layout of the pipeline, and those sensors are monitoring. So you can see the actual gas, flowing. What every sensor and pressure, everything. Those are some amazing things that those technologies can do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. With this, with organizing committee members, I would like to express our sincere thanks for accepting our invitation and delivering the nice session on this cyber physical system and the smart grid and the future of the energy management. So a special thank, I think it's morning 7 or 8 o'clock in the USA, and you are ready to deliver the session, and with the nice energy, you are delivering the session. So thank you, sir. In future also, we will try to connect for the different programs. So it will be helpful for us to understand the latest development in the sector of cybersecurity and IT. So once again, thank you for your sharing the thoughts and insight for this particular topic. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Dear participants, we are having the next session. Dr. P.V. Bhale, Professor and Head, Mechanical Engineering Department, Surat, National Institute of Technology, NIT, Surat. So I think sir is available or not.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. So welcome, sir. Good evening, sir.
good evening. Good evening. Namaste. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, so participants are ready to listen for another 1.5 hour, hopefully. Yeah,
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
yeah. So I expect some interactive session
Yes, yes, definitely.
rather than from one side.
Yes, yes.
And whatever experiences which we gained in last 25 years of
Yes.
handling some projects, I'll be discussing those aspects in a nutshell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, dear participants, we are moving ahead for the next session. So, we are having with us Dr. P.V. Bhale. It is our great honor to welcome Dr. P.V. Bhale, Professor and Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Sardar Vallabhbhai National Institute of Technology, SVNIT, Surat. It is an institute of national importance. Dr. Bhale is a distinguished academician and accomplished researcher and a highly respectable expert in the field of renewable and sustainable energy system, IC engine, alternative fuel, and energy conservation and the thermal energy. His total experience is more than 25 years. Dr. Bhale has made the significant contribution to both academia and industry. He has handled a wide spectrum of research and the consultancy project, included solar-assisted heat pump system, biogas reforming units, HVAC optimization, municipal solid waste management, desalination technologies, and innovative energy integration system. His ability to combine fundamental research with the practical industrial solutions set him apart as a true the leader in the sustainable energy. Dr. Bhale has guided the numerous PhD scholar and over the 50 plus MTech dissertation and has published extensively in the high impact journal under the Elsewhere, Springer, then different major publisher. His research output span cutting-edge domains such as the biofuel stability, PVT system, waste-to-energy technology, porous burner, switch, sludge valorization, and the solar dryer innovation. His excellence has been recognized through the multiple SERP-funded project, GUSCO initiatives, and government-sponsored program. He is also certified energy auditor, and he has offered consultancy service to the key agencies like Surat Municipal Corporation, Defense of Ministry, NABARD, ONGC, and various state agencies. Dr. Bhale has delivered 90 plus expert lecture across India and has served on numerous national level advisory board, doctoral committee, and editorial review board for the reputed international journal. Beyond the research, he has played the pivotal administrative role at the SVNIT, including the Associate Dean, Research and Consultancy, Member of Board of Governance, then Financial Committees, member, and the several institute level committees shaping the policies, accreditation, and the academic governance. With such a rich legacy of innovation, leadership, and academic excellence, Dr. Bhale truly presents the spirit of the sustainable technology development and the future-oriented engineering educations. We are privileged to have him with us today. Please join me in the warmly welcome Dr. P.V. Bhale to deliver his expert session and for the faculty development program. So once again, on behalf of organizing team, I welcome to you, sir. So you are having time up to the 9 p.m. Sorry for the first session is
No problem. No problem.
So I welcome you, sir. Now you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Dr. Mori, for introducing me. Please interrupt me at any point of time, dear participants. We'll discuss. And again, it's not any preaching or any teaching. You all are learned people having experience. It's just a sharing of some of the experiences which may be of your interest. I'll share my screen. Just a minute. Let me know, the screen is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes.
So I'll be sharing some of our experiences related to certain energy technologies, which are we tried to be sustainable, and sharing some of our good as well as bad experiences, which may be useful to you in whatever in the last 25 years. As we know, energy is our requirement, and this is how the energy gets generated in a power plant. And we'll all know that it's a low grade energy getting converted to the high grade energy. But if you see the conversion efficiency, how much it is, I want the participants to answer, to respond, so that it will be somewhat interactive. Few of you, how much is the conversion efficiency, you all know? Approximately. Converting heat to work, conversion efficiency is approximately. So there are 89 participants. I expect some answer. How much is
It is a good time to interact with the Dr. Bhale sir. So please be interactive.
how much is the conversion efficiency when heat is getting converted to work?
Someone is typing 75 to 80.
How is it?
Approximately 40%.
Yeah, is maximum 40%, irrespective of the make. As we know, there are limitations because of the second law of thermodynamics. So this heat getting converted to work, means electrical work, ultimately is a very high grade energy. So we process a lot of milk and get little ghee out of it. It's just a high grade energy. But if you see the energy balance, just to get 1 kilowatt hour of energy, just to get 1 kilowatt of our energy, you see the pressure onto the resources in terms of air, in terms of coal requirement. The conversion is 39%, but where it is? 39% is at the power plant, this one. So when it is getting transmitted through the grid and is available at our residential purpose, the conversion, and if you consider mediocre quality of the appliances, to the end user, out of this 100, the one which is available to the end user is just 12%. Just 12%. So the point is, this is the most precious form of energy which we extracted from the coal. But ultimately, this journey was started with the heating of the water inside a boiler. Water becomes steam. Steam rides onto the turbine blades. It is coupled with the generator. It produces electricity and all. 45% is getting rejected. But this electrical energy, when it reaches to our household applications, we use an immersion rod or say electric heater and convert this high grade energy again to heat, that too for some bathing purpose. So the journey which was started maybe few hundred kilometers away, with the starting with the heating of the water, we are ultimately ending this most sophisticated form of energy using electrical geysers or using immersion rod just to heat the water. So it's my appeal that those who are conscious about energy, they may please see that we are avoiding the usage of electrical geysers because they are very easy to use, safe also, having conversion efficiency also very high. But in all contexts, we need to see that to what extent it's advisable. If someone is elderly at home, that's not an issue. But to good amount of extent, there are other resources, not just the solar. Even if it is a gas burner also, we can always explore that option rather than using electrical energy that for bathing purpose. I'm here telling you because since last several years, I'm trying to take a bath with the cold water and it's always good. हमारा आयुर्वेद कहता है कि lukewarm water पियो, कंज्यूम करो और ठंडे पानी से नहाओ. हम लोग गर्म पानी से नहाते हैं और कोका कोला के साथ में कुछ खाना खाते हैं. So that needs to be revisited. It's nothing like any preaching, but I remember when I was a student, our thermodynamic teacher emphasis on this, and I'm trying to follow to the extent possible. So more the conversion loops involved, more will be the losses, obviously. So we need to see the direct energy conversion systems are also equally important. In fact, the solar came more as a direct energy conversion systems, but later on, unfortunately, it got hooked to the grid. We all know, as far as thermodynamics is concerned or energy conservation is concerned, thermodynamics, we can say it's a prelude to energy conservation. So we all know about the first law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, right? But it can be wasted. We need to save energy. That's important. So that is what the emphasis of the Bureau of Energy also. We know as far as the fossil is concerned, is we are on the verge here. Somewhere here we came across the tremendous possibility of changing the lifestyle through fossil, but most of the fossil we have consumed and we are here. So there are many different agencies. We talk about the availability of the resources. Their estimate is slightly different, but within 10%, they are correct. The difference is within just 10%. People are saying that oil and gas reserves are for 45, 65 years. Coal is likely to last for 235 years. And in that context, although we are an independent country, but are we energy independent? A lot of research is happening. A lot of installation of the solar is also happening. But to what extent it is sustainable? And even the government is doing a lot of good things. But in that context, we need to see that how we can develop sustainable technologies. Now look at this picture. You can see the lumens, you can see the kilowatt energy requirements to brighten this ground, meant for some cricket purpose during night tournaments. But if you can measure the lumens during daytime on a sunny day, now you can, I do have all the calculations as far as the mass requirement and kilowatt hour requirement is. But during daytime, the same ground will have even much higher lumens. So in that context, if you can consider the amount of energy which we every day receiving from the God's sun is tremendous. If we compare 1:1 and the amount of energy requirement for such things. So it is said that 5% of the solar energy, if we can tap, just 5%, it will be 50 times more than the world's demand. 5% tapping of the energy means you need to have 5% of the surface area of the solar systems. It's a huge target. As we know, we are somewhere here, just here, with so many countries, one country, one state, one city, we our office and all. So in that context, if you see our solar system, there is a huge amount of energy which is available, which we can harness the sun first, because even if it is a wind, the responsible is sun. Even if it is a hydro, or in the context that directly, indirectly to the suns, even the biomass bioenergy, it is the sun which is responsible, because energy in biomass is getting stored because of the photosynthesis. So we need to harness the sun first. So I'll be discussing to some extent certain technologies where we were involved as far as the solar PV and solar thermal is concerned. We know all is a direct energy conversion system which converts the solar energy into electricity. In 2002, 2001 and 2002 around, we installed the first solar PV pump when I was a part of the university. It was a Tata BP solar mech, which is used for pumping some water for irrigation. That time I remember the mech was Tata BP, and per watt, the costing was 750 rupees. 750 rupees per watt. Now you can see it is even 35 rupees, less than 35 rupees per watt. This is what the advantage of technology. This is what the advantage of carrying out the research at various universities, and then faster adaptation of the technology, where you can find is a spread. And in terms of capacity, is a huge capacity which is now available to the India, replacing the coal. Similarly, we also know about some solar system which is available, that is in the form of some thermal solar systems which is available. These type of systems you must have seen, which are mounted onto the terrace for extracting or for using, meeting the hot water requirement. Anyone, can you tell what are the problems with this type of systems? What are the problems? This you must have seen on the terrace. Come on. What are the challenges with this type of systems? Some problems, some challenges with this type of systems. Anyone?
Some of the participants are saying shadow.
Shadow is okay, is one aspect. Okay.
Efficiency is less, and even in a cold weather, it is very difficult to get the hot water up.
Yes.
So
So what you
conversion.
mean? Very good, very good. And I will appeal all participants to be participative. No one is going to hang you for a wrong answer, but just speak out. So the problem with this type of system is supply demand management is a problem. During rainy season, you need to take a hot water for bathing purpose, but there are not enough solar radiations available. During winter also, the same problem. The temperature is very low, and the loss from the storage tank is also high. So you are not getting the water requirement, hot water requirement, particularly when the demand is high. On the other hand, during April, May, June is a almost 80 degrees centigrade water, but who wants to take a bath at when it is summer? Who want to take a bath with the hot water? So there is a problem as far as supply demand is concerned. Another problem is the tubing, the salt deposition inside the tubing. And if you want to, can you find out the difference between these two figures? Any difference?
At the
Natural
bottom.
circulation. One is the natural circulation one, and another one is a forced flow.
Yeah. Yes, correct, correct. So industry may have the requirement when it is a large size requirement, maybe some 1 lakh liters per day and all. Industry may have the requirement to use the pump, or otherwise, if it is for some domestic applications or some residential applications or for resorts or hotels, during the daytime it can store, and during morning or late evening you can extract. So one is having natural circulation, another is having with some pump. So normally, every one of you know about the losses which are taking place, how the solar energy is getting trapped and how it is getting converted for useful heat. There are losses. And earlier this used to be system, now it has got totally changed. Even you can find the tubings, because a single glass, if it gets break, there are the cost is high. Similarly, the deposits of the dust is also challenging. If you have this type of surfaces, then the dust deposit is minimal. We have some articles on the effect of the dust deposition also. Similarly, this is again some solar thermal system as a solar cooker, which is used for some cooking and all. But the challenge is how we can make it more popular. It's still not so popular. Can you mention some of the reasons why it's not so popular?
Sir, solar tracking system is not available.
Okay, it's a flat plate. Okay, yeah.
And again, the total energy which we are getting from that, like it is not a concentrated one.
Okay.
We are lagging the getting the energy.
Okay, yeah. Moreover,
Due to the hard
Cannot
water
use
problem, in
it.
case of the ETC tubes, there is a scaling and corrosion problem inside the evacuate tube collector. Small water droplets, white type of
yeah. But as far as solar cooker is concerned, limitations of solar cooker. Why it's not getting popular?
We cannot use it in UV.
In practical case, sir, we have to use it for the cooking, and mainly we have to put it outside. But people, they are not using it in a.
Yeah. So when it is an urban area where the flat systems, so finding the place to cook is
Yes, sir.
one challenge. Another thing is, I used to be in some PhD examination where some students, research scholars, they work earlier on solar systems. They made so many different models to make the solar cooker more effective, and even some coupled with the PV and all. So they made some 8 to 10 different models, and they used to show me all the results. My simple question was, most of the results, you see journal papers also on solar cooker. The readings are taken from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Now,
Yes.
this is not a time to cook.
Yeah.
मैं हमेशा उनको बोलता था कि मुझे 7 बजे से सुबह लेकर 10 बजे तक
That's why.
आप 11 बजे को उसको कुक करने के लिए गया तो बेचारा वैसे ही चला जाएगा ऑफिस में बिना खाना खाते.
Yes.
एट द सेम टाइम इवनिंग हम शाम में खाना बनाएंगे तो अभी जितने भी रिजल्ट्स है काफी सारे पेपर्स में आप देखना. So it is from 10 paper publish हो जाते हैं. That's okay. There's a different thing. There's an academic requirement. You can always do that. But we need to see practically to what extent the research is also relevant. So if you have all the readings, set of readings, good performance, comparisons, and several parameters, but they are within from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it has relevance. More important is you to see. There are certain articles or certain students also have work storage. Now PCM material, but if the PCM material, what type of PCM material you are using is equally important. If it is not a food grade, there are challenges. Papers publish ho jayenge, but you need to see all the aspects also. So in this context, there are challenges, different models. The most of the important part is the cost of the stainless steel tank, or if it is MS tank, the price will be different. If there are selective coatings, the price will be different. If the puff insulation, the price is different. So you'll find single manufacturer will have different 3-4 versions. So in terms of efficiency, it will vary. You can always find that there is full of solar thermal systems. Many times it's not clean, but this is all about solar thermal system. Similarly, we know about solar photovoltaic systems, the solar cell, solar module, solar array, and in terms of the different compositions involved in terms of the tracking systems, cabling, DC isolator and all. So we all know how the solar energy is getting converted. A lot of work is happening on perovskite also. So how the solar energy is getting converted? Again, it's a direct energy conversion device. We said the power plant efficiency is 40%. Here the efficiency may be some 12%, but the input is free. Unlike we are burning huge amount of coal in a power plant, the input is free. At the same time, there are no emissions like power plant. So even if it is at the same time, as I mentioned, this is you can have on your rooftop. On the other hand, when power plant is generating electricity with 40% efficiency at the power plant, when it is getting transmitted, is again 12%. So that way we need to see the energy and the context is as far as the distributed source of energy is concerned. So it has different materials, backing materials, solar cells. It's just a laminated sheets. Most of the times in India also, people are buying the solar PV cells from abroad, and then they are doing the laminations with the glass and all to make these solar systems. But a lot of manufacturing is now happening in our country also. So we discuss about solar thermal, we discuss about solar PV. Now, if you combine this, it is solar PVT. And this is an area where since last more than a decade, we are working, and we'll share some of the experiences of this. So as we know, when the PV is getting heated, like if it is in summer, the temperature is very high, and a common man person's understanding is high temperature, high insulation. So it's good for the PV, but you need to understand that it's a involvement of the semiconductor. So in terms of PV characteristics, if you can see in terms of current and voltage as well as power and voltage, here you can see the uncooled is one here, and if we can cool the PV, it will be here. So if we can maintain the temperature, you must have seen PV panel and certain wattage, maybe 100 watt or 500 watt, but that watt is W and small p. P stands for W and small p, ऐसा लिखा रहता है capacity. P stands for
Peak value.
peak value, correct. So peak value when it is under certain conditions. What is that condition? You need to maintain temperature. So in terms of, we explored certain possibility of some thermal management, and we developed certain systems. In terms of solar radiations, we do have the weather station, and we are continuously monitoring. And you can see the PV temperature even can go up to some 65, 70, 75 also sometimes. And during summer, it can go even 80. But if you can maintain with certain ways, it's possible to maintain the PV efficiency will also increase. And we develop certain PVT systems, and with one industry which is involved with hot water solution provider to various hotels and resorts, we had some MOU, and now at many places this is at now TRL level, some 8 to 9, because at certain places and hotels and resorts this has been under installation with different capacity. But you can see that if you can have an electric geyser to hit certain quantity, if the requirement is this, the system which we have developed is PVT based systems coupled with the HVAC system, which can have the reduction. So it is air source as well as water source systems, which you can see is a tremendous reduction as far as the hot water is concerned. Hot water industry is a huge industry as far as the requirement is concerned for various applications, not just for bathing purpose. You can see the significant improvement in the efficiency, and it's not just efficiency improvement, but getting some hot water also. You can see the PV has a very high temperature, but if you can maintain it, it's possible to have higher power generation also. Similarly, if you can have independent PV and thermal systems, the space requirement is very high. On the other hand, if you can have this technology, the space requirement is very, very less on the terrace. Coming back to other systems, that is thermal, solar, but concentrated systems, you can see these are the different types of systems available. Even in some part of the US, you can see this type of systems, which is simply working on the Rankine cycle. And these are all the heliostats which are focusing at this particular point. So this point acts as a boiler, and the steam will get generated. It will produce the electricity. It can be, a system will be like this, or it can be like this. My point is, why solar thermal power is not happening today? This is my question is. Efficiency here, it can be higher. You convert solar energy into steam. You can make steam can rise just like a power plant you can have. Why PV has progressed to such an extent that almost nowhere you'll find solar thermal is there, concentrating is there, but for it is process heating, not for power generation. Anyone can tell the basic reason why electrical energy generation is not happening with the solar thermal concentrating system, I want to say.
Sir, one is the total cost of this setup will be more, and second one is the mainly the gas turbines which are available.
It will be steam turbine also.
Yeah, steam turbine.
Yeah.
Which will be one of the reasons.
See, turbine anyway is available. So
Yeah.
it will not make any difference whether you generate the steam by nuclear or by solar or by uh, so-called as your boiler, coal-fired boiler. It has to have its supply of the steam. Why
Efficiency is another reason.
efficiency? Power plant efficiency is anyway 40%. And when it is reflection and then getting energy stored, it's also good. You need to keep the glasses clean. Even solar PV also has 12% efficiency.
So at the time of evening and night, we require the more energy, electrical energy. So the same time, by using this system, we cannot produce the energy because of the sun is not available at this time. So I
Yeah,
think
so storage, yes. So storage is the basic problem. Storage of thermal energy. Anyway, energy storage is, so when we talk about the first law of thermodynamics, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be easily wasted and it's very difficult to store. That's true. Even if you can see the EV battery, you see their weights. As far as we recently completed one project where it was some consultation projects for procurement of some 150 electric buses. The cost of the EV battery pack itself is around 40 lakhs. That is equal to the replacement of just a fuel tank. So when you want to store energy, particularly in the form of heat or in the form of electrical, it's always challenging. So one major reason is not just storage, but turbine are not designed for everyday start and stop. Evening में बंद हो गया, सुबह फिर से चालू, ऐसा नहीं होता. Power plant के turbines देखिए, once it started, it will start for weeks together. So this is one aspect. Second is during night time, all the time it's changing. So this is the reason why, and at the same time, PV has no moving components. It's just a laminated sheet and is a direct energy conversion device. No loops involved. Radiations are falling, electricity is getting generated. So that's why it got hooked to the grid. This is about one project which we completed somewhere in 2003. I was part of university that time, and it was wonderful experience to work with this NGO, which was headed by Dr. K.R. Date. He was once upon a time member of Niti Aayog. He died at the age of 85, but it was very rich experience to work with him. So all the structures he designed and got patented also. So it is one supporting frame, and the another, this is one support, another support to that side, and this is the frame which got mounted onto it. So the south support and north support and the frame, and KRD actually is a big name that time, having multiple countries consultancy, and later on left everything because of huge influence by so great renowned social worker Honorable Baba Amte, and then they started doing the things for the rural area, and then this project was the outcome of that. The SARMET is one NGO which he established. SARMET stands for Society for Advancement of Renewable Materials and Energy Technology. दाते साहब का कहना था कि unless and until material and energy comes from the rural villages areas, rural development is not possible. So he insisted that whatever the mirrors which you will be placing, you need not to go for some Saint-Gobain or very high reflective mirrors, because those mirrors are really costly. So he asked me to buy the mirrors which are available in a village. And when we installed the mirror, I remember that time, these are all ordinary mirrors. That time it costed 2,000 rupees. And this is, you can see, can you see size of a person who is standing here? So is a around 10 square meter system forming some parabola, and all these radiations will get focused at this particular point, and we used to feed some fluid, it will move, and then it will transfer to the secondary heat exchanger. So it's a thermic fluid which is entering, and some focus is getting formed here. So this is a heat exchanger. मेरी गुड और बैड एक्सपीरियंसेस, ये पूरा इंस्टॉल करने के बाद में हमको फिर पता चला कि अरे थर्मोकपल का वायर तो जोड़ना रह गया करके. So initially you make many mistakes, but later on this technology was very much appreciated that time by the Ministry of, that time it was Ministry of MNES. Now it is MNRE. Now at that time, Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources. By the way, I must tell you at this point of time, we normally see the books also, non-conventional sources of energy or non-conventional energy systems. Even हमारे मंत्रालय का नाम भी अपारंपरिक ऊर्जा मंत्रालय ऐसा था. Why unconventional or non-conventional? To identify or segregate from the conventional. So what is conventional? Fossil? Is it fossil? Is it conventional? Mankind is using energy from the sun, energy from the wind, energy from the biomass since millions of years. How it can be non-conventional? And later on, they are the most conventional sources of energy, I can tell you. So you can, better way is to segregate. One is fossil based, another is renewable. That you can tell. Not conventional and non-conventional. Recently, not recently, maybe few years back, one book came for me for some evaluation by Tata McGraw-Hill. I will not disclose the name of the author. It's a very popular book. After evaluation, I gave my feedback and all, but I suggested to the publisher, Tata McGraw-Hill, आप इसको non-conventional नाम क्यों दे रहे हैं उसको? There's no more use nowadays. You can have renewable energy system, sustainable technology. कुछ भी दो उसको. बोले सर वो इसके कंपटीटर एक जीडी राय करके बुक है, वो उसके कंपटीटर में हमको लाना है इसलिए मार्केट में, इसलिए हम लोग यही मार्केट में ले जाए. ठीक है बोला. But we need to understand while making use. Similarly, energy conservation, energy management, energy audit. These are also typical wordings. Energy conservation और energy management बहुत specific wordings है. We need to use it very carefully. Anyway, that's not to be covered right now. So this is the system which we installed, and it used to track the sun from morning to evening. And this is what you can see, the date also is somewhere 2003. And this is how the fluid will enter, it will get heated. So you cannot stare at it just like a welding torch. You need to be very, very careful while staring at it. Next day, your eyes will irritate, or otherwise better way to have some goggles also. So this is the thermal fluid which will move. These are well insulated, and the focus is happening over here. And this is how. So later on, one of our friend was working with one company, and it was one installation like this. उनका पहला ही project installation का था. Normally we call it as a parking of a system. मतलब जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर 3 महीने हम लोग normally park करके रखते हैं system को, because it's raining, your mirrors will get faded. Fading of the mirrors is a big problem actually, I'm telling you. So system, if it is getting utilized and getting it's reaching to its end of the life, is not a problem at all. But by weather condition, if the system fades, is a problem. The same case will happen with this, even if it is a Saint-Gobain mirrors, or it can be a Shapler system. But that time, MNRE praised this system, and it, frankly speaking, it was not me alone. We had the team under the guidance of Professor Dr. K.R. Date, and just one small incident, when the system was parked for some 2 months, it was installed somewhere. I'm not talking about this system, but other system which got more placed at some other places. So training was given how to operate, how to track, and during March, April. Then later on, since it was raining, we the system got parked, and later on, after almost September, almost the system got again charged. Charge means again it got tracked. All of a sudden there was a fire here. अभी पहला installation था तो उसका तो भी डर गया बेचारा कि क्या हुआ करके. Then it was realized कि when it was visited कि why there was fire at this point, then it was realized कि यहाँ पे birds ने nest बना लिया था, and no one has taken care. And moment in September, when it got charged, then immediately जो nest था वो it got fired. Nothing was damaged, but you will get all types of experiences. So you can see the temperature recorded around 425. Even the fluid temperature around some 350. This one is, I hope you can tell me what this device is. This device is, which is meant for measurement of hello.
To measure the radiations. Which
Yeah,
is
it's a
called
solar paranometer, which was
parameter.
yeah, and all type of jugaad we made in those days. This is a pump you need, otherwise a very costly pump to circulate a hot fluid. And I must tell that that it was a great visionary, K.R. Date, who wanted to make this system. Later on, a lot of work has done to replace the bamboo, or replace those structural components by means of a bamboo. So this tracking circuit, and you can see here, can you see that it is not came properly? ये वाइपर मोटर है ऑटो रिक्शा का, जो हम लोगों ने इसमें भी यूज किया था इस तरह से. So this is how the energy harnessing conversion, the workshop people. So this photograph maybe is around 25 years back when we work on that systems. So, but the beauty is this is a moving focus system which was developed, that as the sun tracks, the system also tracks, and so the receiver or the absorber will also track. Now, if the absorber keeps on tracking, you cannot cook the food. If it is to be used for cooking some food applications, you need fixed focus system like this. What is the name of this system? Schaeffler. You must have heard this name. So the focus will be fixed. You can, this will adjust itself in such a way that it will all the time maintain the focus constant. So we install on our terrace a similar system. Is a 16 square meter Schaeffler system installed on our terrace, and this is a receiver, and we did many research work on the systems, including even in the cryogenics track. One of our colleague, Professor H.B. Nayak, was closely linked with the IIT Bombay for this cryogenics purpose. So this is some stack you can see which is used. So in that case, we wanted to have cooling by heating, that to cooling up to cryogenics application. So this stack used to heat, so we deployed a solar system to heat. So it sounds good that on terrace we have the temperature like 500 degrees centigrade. Here on the ground floor we have the temperature around minus 200 degrees centigrade as far as the application is concerned, cryogenics application is concerned. So is a cryocooler basically. You can see the steep raise in temperature in just few seconds and to 700-800 degrees centigrade. We also explored the possibility of using some energy storage medium, and the system we arrange, you can see this is without any storage, and later on maybe here it's not visible, but after 4:30 we, to compare, 4:30 we diverted the focus to so that it was defocus. You can see the fall in temperature when the focus was stopped. You can see it is like this. On the other hand, here it was lasted. So to reach this level of performance, it was almost 10:30 as far as storage is concerned. So we also deployed the storage systems. You need to have special pump because thermic fluid pumping is not done by ordinary pump. You need some cooling arrangement for this pump also. So this is all about the performance which we got. So this just sharing some of our experiences as far as solar PV, solar PVT, solar thermal, or even the concentrating system is concerned. Similarly, there are certain technologies I would like to mention about the biomass and bioenergy based technologies. We know about the biogas, जो गाँव में रहता था गोबर गैस के नाम से, with the basic principle that is anaerobic digestion when we are feeding some slurry or the cow dung. the gas will get generated. This gas can be used for cooking applications. This gas can be used for some lighting also. And at many places, the gas generation took place. Is our friend Ajay Chandak. He also developed certain biogas plant where it's a good example and some rational thinking that the kitchen waste as well as the cow as well as the unite soil human extract also got mixed to generate the biogas meeting the requirement. So biogas can be explored in many ways. So there's a lot of interesting thing to compare biodiesel and biogas. We'll not discuss right now, but biogas is certainly rewarding, and you must be aware about the SAT scheme by the government, where the oil manufacturing companies, oil marketing companies like Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, they are using the cascade of the bio CNG. We have developed one plant. Our colleague Professor S. H. Chennaiwala is a Bhatnagar fellow, and at the same time we are involved with making the TV report, economic viability report for large size. Large size means 12,000 meter cube or 5-ton CBG plants. We are involved as far as consultation is concerned. As I mentioned, we undertake consultancy across the country in various areas pertaining to energy. This is again different type of biogas plants like HDP biogas plant, or it can be some FRP based biogas plant. Different make. This is at the one at IIT Delhi. This is at BRC. You can have fixed dome type biogas plant which can generate the gas. Again, there is anaerobic activity, or you need not to have. So generation or decomposition of cow dung or any organic matter is a natural process. The bacteria are doing. You can help them, or you can make some harnessing using some containers so that you can able to harness that. Even the rich manure you can also able to use it. So it need not to be a very sophisticated system. Even if you can cover this nala with this way, you can get the gas generated, and it can be used for a variety of applications, including for cooking. So depending upon how sophistication you need, you can go for a type of technology involved. It can be medium to large size system with a covered lagoon. So basically it is a process of hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis. Recently means it's not recently, but I can say 2013-14. One NGO, Gujarat Energy, came to us. They had the problem that the conventional biogas plant like this, which has the involvement of this cement and the metallic dome, there is a presence of the H2S gas, so corrosion, and they used to get some funds from the Tribal Development Fund, where if you can visit the places like Vyara or Bardoli in South Gujarat, the animal husbandry is good, so people have cattle. So one way to increase their income is to have the biogas plant, and government used to give some subsidy here, maybe some 90% of the subsidy from the government, 10% the beneficiary has to give. So this NGO used to work in the field, and they were always given some target and some, let us say, establishment of 200 biogas plants. But the problem was this NGO was doing well, but the problem was one beneficiary, maybe in one part of this village, another maybe some 10 kilometers from that area, another will be another village. So when it comes to digging, the digging normally we used to ask the user to make or to take care of the digging part, but cement, mortar, bricks, and this dome and its transportation, it used to delay the target, and many times 30% मार्च तक target complete नहीं होता था, and इनको penalty भी होती थी, पैसे भी release होने में problem आते थे. So they requested us, can we go for some pre-mold type of thing like FRP type of biogas digester, so that the time will be less, and at the same time bricks, mortars, transportation, all such issues can get resolved. So somewhere in 2013, we work, and with this NGO, we developed this FRP based type of system. So here you can see the FRP digester, although it appears just this much, but it is 3 times or at least 2.5 times deeper here. And this is the dome. So it was just like a sheet which can be turned to form this shape. So it was much easier to have some riveting at the site and transport this type of uh, domes, because they can be easily transferred rather than the bricks, mortars, or the fixed domes. So sorry, those called as metallic domes. So it, because जैसा एक ग्लास में 10 ग्लास आ सकते हैं, इस तरह से हम लोग इसको लेके जाते हैं. So that way we tested this for the conventional one, and this was nearby, साथ में with the same fitting and all, and we could see that the temperature used to be high because FRP is a bad conductor of heat and it used to store the heat. So in terms of temperature, it was much higher than the cement one, and here also displacement we could observe much higher. So the gas generation, even we tested it, the strength of the FRP. We also tested some of the other competitors, like including Syntex and all. So the one which was developed, it has highest strength, and these are the test samples. Similarly, and this was then established at our campus also then to dig and to have the preparation. You can see the dimensions of the digester, and then initially even the PhD and the MTech students work on this project, and it was challenging. All they are well placed. It was challenging to have the students involvement, particularly from the waste food. एक किसका खाना झूठा है और उसको हम लोग process करें, is all making the hands dirty. So but we keep them motivated, and then we realize that these systems will not work unless until we have some semi-automation. And we also found a lot of problems, and there are also some failure stories also when we earlier also we were involved. But with all those good or bad experiences, we move ahead, and then we can add the gas generation also. Now this is the complete one, and some hotel industries wanted to have good aesthetic also, because they wanted to take pride at the same time. They also wanted to have a really good aesthetic. So this was a good system. From the kitchen mess, the slurry is coming, it is getting diverted. So there are walls, and the waste slurry is also getting deposited. The gas is also. So we used to have a gas supply for the engines here, which was placed, is not visible. And even the scrubbing unit also was placed to for engine unit to scrub the gas CO2 particularly, so that is all methane will enter. And to this side, using on some stove for gas generation and all, a lot of challenges will come. You need to take care of the maize boys sometimes, because उनका तो काम ही बढ़ रहा है, मालिक का फायदा हो रहा है. So sometimes some spoon or some, so if it is non-vegetarian maize, then some bones. So you need to take care of this. Suppose some cloth also, तो आपका winding चला गया, फिर से आपको repair में कराओ. So all such things we experience. But I must tell that this is ready to transfer if anyone is interested to go for that. So this is available for transfer. Or I must tell that with this NGO, more than 1,500 with some responsibility, I'm telling, more than 1,500 biogas plants is 2 meter cube. One is 2 meter cube have been established, and many are working since last 10 years also. This is quantitative gas generation. One is qualitative gas generation. Qualitative in the sense how we can upgrade the quality of the gas, because it is mainly CH4 and CO2. CO2 has no value. It's just like a ash in a coal. So how people are doing right now, they are separating CO2 from the biogas, so that what remains is pure CH4, and CH4 people are consuming. So most of the time the scrubbing process is used, or soda lime process is used to remove the CO2 to form calcium carbonate. It will get separated out. But in our case, we did a different way that instead of removing CO2, we made CO2 to react with the CH4. If you react it at high temperature with some catalyst, it will form carbon monoxide, which is a flammable, and H2. So hydrogen generation from biogas is very, very interesting. And hydrocarbon storage, you must have seen the LPG or even the CNG at 200 bar is not a problem. But if you want to store hydrogen at 600 bar, it's really challenging. Our pressure cooker has 2 bar pressure, 600 bar. So our proposal is to convert biogas in C2 to hydrogen rich syngas, because H2NCO is syngas, and use it there itself rather than storing. You can have good solution to store hydrocarbon or even the biogas. You need not to separate out carbon dioxide. You make it to react with carbon dioxide to methane, but you need 700 temperature, 600 temperature, 500 temperature. You can't say aega. It's again energy intensive process. So what we did, we use again some renewable energy system. So this is called as a catalytic reforming of biogas to form hydrogen rich syngas to upgrade the quality of the biogas. And if you can see, this is a methane and carbon dioxide is a biogas. If you make it to react, it will form hydrogen. But here you need some catalyst, here you need some temperature. But at that temperature means again energy cost will come into picture. So what we did, we install again the Schaeffler and we raise the temperature to it. So being a solar, it will not be exactly the same. The insolation is changing. So we could get some 400 to 500, 550 temperature using this system. So you can see the formation. This is the input like 60 and 40. Sorry, this is a product gas combination. But here you can see the product gas combination is called as a reform product gas. This is a conversion. The 60 got converted to, sorry, 40% of the carbon dioxide got converted to 20%, 60% of this got converted to 40%, and got converted means they got reacted to form H2 as well as CO. So the temperature was some 600 degrees centigrade. Now at even higher temperature, the all CO2 got consumed and more hydrogen will get formed, CO will get formed. So some part which has not been consumed will remain. So this is a product gas composition. If you can raise temperature like 700 degrees centigrade, this product will get formed. So as here you can see, this is 40% of carbon dioxide, this is 60% of the methane. Then they are reacting as the temperature increases, they are decreasing, and here the one which is increasing is nothing but a CO and H2. At higher temperature, there more is the conversion. At 700, it's all getting converted to syngas, hydrogen rich syngas. But frankly telling, with solar system, we could have experimentation in this only. Now in this case, we got some presence of CO2, some presence of पूरा का पूरा CO2 convert नहीं होता था, क्योंकि because the temperature was, you need a very high temperature around 700. इसके बाद में CO2 पूरा का पूरा देखो, ये सब पूरा zero हो गया यहाँ पे. So here in this region, we got composition CO, CO2, H2 and CH4, but it has performed far better than any of the gas as far as engines are concerned. And this article is available in the Hydrogen Energy Journal. We deployed some variable compression ratio engine and very good results we got. Since there is a time constraint, I will not discuss the results. So this is about biogas reformation, working on small size biogas plant, deployment to the field, and this is about the large size biogas plant. Can you see the diameter? So the diameter is 32 meter. 32 meter. So the gas generation is through sewage. This is one consultancy problem which we handled, where the leakages were very high. And this, you can see the gas pipeline. It is almost a kilometer pipeline, and all sewage of the city or some part of the city enters, and the gas generation is taking place. So there are 3 digesters, each is of 32 meter diameter. 30 meter का height मतलब 10 माले का building हो जाता है. So the task given was why this plant is not performing. What are the reasons? Ideally, how much it can perform, how much gas is getting generated, what are the losses, and what care can be taken up to improve the yield of the system. So there is a blower house, and this is the soda treatment is consuming huge amount of caustic also for scrubbing, and you can see the H2S as well as all complete SCADA control system, which takes care. So many breakdown issues because the H2S, if it is there, if the DG sets 1 megawatt ka DG set coupled kiya isme. So here you can see 1 megawatt DG set is all SCADA control system. So 1 megawatt DG set, when it comes to production, it was not generating. It will generate 1000 kilowatt 1 hour, मतलब 1000 यूनिट 1 घंटे में करेगा. Even 16 hours continuous production रहेगा. So ideally speaking, if it is on full load condition, 16,000 units generate होने चाहिए, which were not getting generated. So the task was why it was not getting generated. So we had almost 1 year. It was peak COVID time. One year of testing of the samples, of the input slurry, output slurry, volatile matter degradation, why the degradation is not happening. So it's for the obvious reason it got constructed few years back when the population was not that much. So accordingly, your flow retention time, they are linked. If the flow, because so many houses got built, so many systems got coupled to the sewage plant, a lot of sewage flow is entering. So obviously your dimensions, although they are huge, but for a city, they are not that much in also. So obviously your slurry will enter, it will go without having much retention time. So at the same time, estimation of the losses. So we did many testings. So there is a paucity of the time. We'll not discuss much, but we could also identified some, even the leakages also at some places. Even there was a challenge to where to get some sample for analysis, or if you want to have some measurement, because the system is charged all the time. Sewage is coming, you cannot stop. You can see the entire system, and at the same time you cannot make any drill into this line for taking any sample or do some treatment and all, because the gas is flowing. So a lot of care you need to take, and then we successfully handled this consultancy project, and we came across the reasons. At the same time, total leakage, the possibility of maximum power production, and certain SOPs, guidelines to make it more efficient, and it based on all scientific evidences that how much is the degradation that can be possible, the retention time, and how much it is happening, and without complete digestion, how the slurry is coming at around all. But it took almost 1 year for handling this project. So reduction in volatile solids was not adequate, and the gas generation and the losses, it almost some 2000 meter cube. एक छोटा 2 meter cube का रहता है, अगर 4 लोगों का खाना बनाना है तो losses were around 2000 meter cube. But later on, those many corrective actions and measures were taken. So this all about some gist of the different projects which we handle. As the time is reaching out, so I need to stop somewhere. By the way, this is our 10,000 square feet area built up renewable and sustainable energy lab. We had several sponsored research projects ongoing, several consultancy projects. So those who are PhD, they are welcome to collaborate with us, and those who are willing to join for any PhD programs, it's a teamwork which we have some around 6 faculty members. We have full-time program, even the part-time program also. We encourage the full-time students. We accord some 40,000 rupees of scholarship and a family accommodation also for research scholars, and we support almost for 5 years. At the same time, the legacy is always we want our students to go to industry, not to the academia. And recently, 4 students, they are 2 are with the NIT system, and 4 they are part of the industry with very good package as a senior R&D engineer or senior scientist. So it's a good opportunity. Those who are interested, they can always contact, explore the possibilities. So you are welcome to come and visit us, our lab, with some prior time. So thank you these are some of our areas of consultation and research. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and thank you for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the nice and informative presentation and the session on the towards the sustainable energy technologies. I think you covered all the aspect like the solar energy, biogas, and the biomass. And I think in your slide, you used to see that all the pictures and all this thing related to the application-based presentations. So it is actually you are presenting the true research and actual research and all the details, pictures and graphs. So it will be great time for us. So dear participants, we are having the great time to discuss or interact with the Dr. Bhale sir. So the forum is open for the discussion. Unmute yourself and you can discuss with the Dr. Bhale sir, or you can write your message into chat box.
Yeah, you're welcome for any query.
Yes, yes. Sir, I have the one question, general question.
Yeah.
So what is the percent of energy India generated using the renewable energy source? That is out of the total consumption in today's scenario.
Yeah, we have some more than 500 gigawatt of the energy, and now earlier it used to be wind, which was more dominating, but with the advent of the solar PV, is more than some 30% solar PV and renewables share, and it is increasing. But keep this in mind that when it comes to installation of 1 megawatt plant, it needs some at least 15 crores, 10 to 15 crores when it comes to the turbine base. So in long term, yeah. But another story I'm telling you, that if you hook too much of solar to the grid, because during daytime it is available, during night time it is not available. So in that case, there is a possibility to have the grid instability also. So government, that's why trying to divert it for some electrolysis and green hydrogen production, because the fossil can get saved with the green hydrogen, but the source is PV. Because if you divert it, you are not coupling with the grid. So that is also an important aspect which has to be taken into account. Yeah.
Sir, but in India, so we are having the lot of research in the renewable energy, and in worldwide also. But if you compare the use of renewable energy as compared to the other country like China, US, UK, so they are more ahead. I think that's for my knowledge by using of renewable energy. So why is it not in India?
Yeah, but at least I can say that PV has done well, and even the agrovoltaics, if we can go, it's an entirely new area we are exploring. Agrovoltaics will make a lot of difference because it is not photovoltaics, it's coupling with the farmer also. So as far as the energy sector is concerned, PV manufacturing, because of the tariff involved with the China, now a lot of manufacturing of the PV is happening. But as I said, we need to have a balanced production from the renewables also. At the same time, we need to understand that we have abundant coal, unlike some other countries, for example, European countries also. We need to make usage of the coal also in the right way, including the gasifiers and all, rather than simply burning it. So all such things are there. The electric vehicles, advent of the electric vehicles also came for the same reason, because our import is around 6 lakhs crores. 6 lakhs crore import of the crude is yearly 6 lakhs crore. एक साल का GST government का 1 lakh crore हो जाता है, 6 lakhs crore. So this money is going to other countries. It's not getting rotated. On the other hand, electricity you can generate using solar, using wind, using even waste to energy, biomass by energy, coal. You can have even the nuclear. So electricity is available. You can charge the battery, use it rather than crude, because people have tried with alternate fuels also. So we need to think for fuel alternatives, not with alternate fuels. So fuel alternatives means in terms of the EV, but again, there are challenges, and they are also getting resolved to some extent, because the battery and the storage and has got improved to a good amount of extent nowadays.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dear participants, if you have any queries or you want to interact with the sir, so please unmute yourself. Okay, sir. I will share your details with the participants.
Sure, sure.
In future, if they want to collaborate with you for the research work or for any kind of work, so they will be contact with you.
Definitely.
So, on behalf of organizing team, I would like to extend our sincere thanks for accepting our invitation and delivering the nice session, informative session on the towards the sustainable energy development and technologies. So, thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear participants, within 5 minutes, I will share both the session feedback link in WhatsApp group. So you can leave now.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.